to handle losing as a beginner basketball player. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
New game means new games. Leg day, how I move weights. With my crew like Wu-Tang. This Batman, not Bruce Wayne. You wanna be safe or stronger? I'm ready for war, I'm covered in armor.
Today we're continuing our playlist for beginner basketball players. And this may be a very important video to some of them because when it comes to playing basketball as a beginner, competing as a beginner, what's going to happen is you're going to lose, and you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose often. You're certainly going to lose way more than you win. And obviously, losing is not fun. Losing could be very frustrating. The reason I say this could be a very important video is because those players that experience that much losing at the beginning of their basketball career very often may terminate their career at that point because all that losing is not fun. And hopefully the reason that they started playing basketball in the first place was because it was fun and it was enjoyable. It's an enjoyable way to spend your time. But at the beginning, when you're genuinely trying to compete and playing the best basketball you can, the best basketball you know how to do at that point, and you're still losing regardless, that can be very frustrating, and because of that, a lot of players may quit because of it. And that's a shame because a lot of those players could go on to be, some of the best basketball players that you may have ever seen. They just don't know how to handle that much losing that soon. So today, let's talk about what to do, how to deal with that much losing as a beginner. Ultimately, this video is not only going to be part of the beginner playlist for this channel, but it's also going to be part of the mindset playlist for this channel. Because being able to handle losses earlier in your career is going to be all about your perspective on them. As a new player, you need to be realistic and you kind of need to check yourself. You have to understand there is an actual process. There is an actual hierarchy. One of the great things about basketball is that is a meritocracy, meaning your merits dictate how successful you're going to be out here. At the beginning, you don't have any merits. You haven't earned any merits yet. It's not your fault, but you just haven't put in the time yet because you're a beginner. You haven't earned your merits out here yet. You still have to earn your skills, your abilities, your experience, and that comes with time and repetition. As you put in that time, you earn your merits, and as your merits accumulate, then you're able to be more successful. Have the right expectations when you're playing basketball, competing as a beginner. Nobody starts out doing something amazingly well. Maybe the most talented people of all time can do that, but you're honestly just probably not one of them, and that's fine. You have real expectations for yourself. You should always try as hard as you can, play as hard as you can, play as smartly as you know how to do at whatever, level of progress you are in your career. And if you lose, then you lose, but at least you lose doing the best you know how to do at that point. I'm assuming that you are playing with other players who are on your level at least or above. Because like if you're 13 but you're playing with 8-year-olds, of course you're gonna beat the 8-year-olds. You should. You're bigger than they are. You should definitely be better than they are because of it. I'm talking about people who are on your level, probably around your same size, or bigger or better level than you are. Against those players, you're probably gonna lose way more than you win. And when you do win, a lot of that's probably gonna be because you got kind of lucky here and there. And that's okay, that's the process, that's how it works. That's how it works for everybody. You're not an exception to that. You need to go through that. You need to feel the occasional frustration from that. So my answer to how do you handle losing so much at the beginning stages of your career isn't you shouldn't let it bother you. My answer is let yourself experience that frustration. So let's talk about why that frustration can be so important. That frustration is important because it's an indicator that you actually do care. If you didn't actually care about basketball or being the best player you could get your butt kicked over and over again out here, and it wouldn't really matter either way. But because when you lose so often as a beginner and it starts to frustrate you, that means you actually really care about this. So let me give you a lesson that I wish somebody would have given me when I was a young, new beginner player. Because when I was a kid, I was playing basketball. Whenever I would try, because most of the time, you know, as a kid, I was terrible, but I didn't care because I loved the game even though I didn't have any skills, even though I didn't have any abilities. I played basketball, I was on the basketball court so often just because I loved being out here. I wasn't trying to be good, I wasn't trying to be better. That didn't happen until I was a teenager. But on the occasion when I did try to play basketball well, and I had no skills or ability yet, I would get so angry. I was the most terrible, worst crybaby sore loser you ever seen on the basketball court. Now for me personally, I was misinterpreting that frustration, right? Because when I would lose, I wasn't mad at the people that beat me. I was mad because I didn't play as well as I wanted to, and then I stupidly manifested that in taking that frustration out on them. I didn't mean to. I wasn't actually angry or upset with them. I was angry at me, but I took it out on them. And that was a huge mistake that I made as a young beginner player. So when it comes to being frustrated by losing as a beginner, let me tell you something that I wish I would have learned when I was at that stage in my career. And that is the difference between emotions, the feelings that you experience, and the actual actions that you take as a result of those feelings. So of course, if you're losing all the time as a new player, that's going to be frustrating, and that's okay. It's okay that it's frustrating. It's okay that you get frustrated from losing. It's okay that you get frustrated from not building the skills or abilities as quickly or as well or as efficiently as you wish you were doing. It's natural, but what is not okay is to allow those negative feelings to then result in negative actions. When I was losing as a kid at basketball, I was a crybaby, sore loser. And I chose to be that way. I didn't realize it at the time because I was a kid, but I did make that choice to be that kind of loser. I didn't have to. I chose to be that way, and it was a stupid decision. Especially because you're watching this channel, I assume that you are intelligent, rational, and reasonable. So that means that whatever negative emotions that you experience from being involved in this world of basketball, it's up to you to figure out how to let the result of those feelings be positive actions. A huge key, a huge way to go about doing that is by having the proper perspective when it comes to that frustration. Like I said, let that frustration be an indicator that you actually care about this. And since you actually do care about getting better at basketball, being the best basketball player you can be, it's okay, it's natural to feel that frustration, but don't allow that frustration to result in you being a sore loser or giving up or walking away. Any action that is going to halt your progress as a basketball player is something that you want to avoid. So try to adjust your perspective to that frustration, to whatever negative feeling you have out here, to be motivational, to fuel you, to let it be something that makes you want to try to get better. It is, of course, easier said than done, but it's the most efficient way to get to where you're trying to be as a basketball player. Throwing a temper tantrum or walking away, giving up, leaving the court, that's not going to help you at all when it comes to your basketball game. So yes, it's going to be frustrating when you lose, or when your skills and abilities and all the practice and drills and workouts you're putting in, they're not resulting the way you want them to. Instead of making the choice to let that frustration overwhelm you and thus resulting in some kind of negative action. Let it fuel you as motivation to keep working, keep trying, get better, get smarter, and come back and be a better player. Losing feels terrible, but it can be used, and it should be used, as a tool to indicate to you what you need to do to get better. So reflect on those losses. Say, okay, here's the mistakes that I made that led to me losing. Here's what the other team did well that led to them winning. How can I then improve that situation so next time it goes more in the direction of me winning? Losing doesn't mean you failed. It just means you still got work to do. That's not a bad thing. Just work harder. Be smarter. That's how to handle losing as a beginner. It's all about how you perceive losing. If you perceive losing as you're a failure, you're failing, you're not doing good enough, you're not enough, you're not good enough, then obviously what do you think the effects, the result, the actions of that perception is going to be? Change that perception. Change the way you perceive losing. Losing is not failure. It's just a tool to show you what you need to work on. And just because you're not there yet with the stuff that you need to work on, and just because you've been trying so long and so hard to get those things to where you want them to be, and they're still not there yet, does not mean they will never be there. Maybe you're not working hard enough. Maybe you're not working often enough. Maybe you're not working smart enough. Again, you're a beginner. You have to have the right expectations for yourself and your game. You're gonna make mistakes. You don't understand everything yet. You have a lot to learn. That's fine. That's natural. Allow yourself to do that. Give yourself a break. Do not expect yourself to be perfect, but expect yourself to have that frustrations from those mistakes, and then expect yourself to grow from them. That growth is never, ever, ever going to happen as quickly as you want it to, but it will happen if you do genuinely keep working at it. And then when it does happen, when you do start to see results, you are going to be so proud of yourself. You have genuine accomplishment, genuine satisfaction in yourself that you finally did accomplish what you've been trying so hard and so long to do. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, if you think it's going to help you be able to cope with losing better, if you think it's going to be, the result is going to be you building a more efficient game because of it, then please subscribe to the channel and hit that thanks button down below. When you hit that button, it directly supports the channel, and for you, it highlights your comments down below for every comment you make. So your comments stand out and it directly supports this channel. So thank you to everyone that does that. As always, like, share, comment, hit that notification bell so you know whenever any of the videos go live on this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
Making them proud or making them pay. I'm running the game, I'm running it up. Don't wanna get burnt, don't play with the flame. Too hot to touch. Facing the storm, I fight through the pain. I go high, go think I'm going insane. Know it's a stake, do what you want, just stay out the way. Hey, get ready, I'm running. Oh yeah, we coming. Keeping the